Hey, Dave Fannin here with the Body Form Personal Training Fitness Boot Camps. Today we're going to talk about the dip and its critical importance to your weight loss and fitness goals. Quite often, no, universally, everyone who has ever gone to lose weight and to get into shape when you're out of shape has gone through the dip at some point. It's universal. And it is critical that you recognize that it's there, because a lot of people go through it and they're not quite realizing what they're going through, and it causes them to quit before getting to the other side and getting all of the benefits that comes from improving their health and fitness for the rest of their life, which actually benefits their children and their children's children. There's so many benefits, and it's so important that you recognize what the dip is. And what the dip is, and it's universal, and it comes from a book by Seth Godin. It was one of those things that the dip by Seth Godin, he found it was in business, and anytime you're trying to improve yourself in your relationship or your business, or anytime you're trying to do a physical transformation, you're going to run into the dip. Or anytime think you're going to go into medical school, there's a time, the way he defines it is, the dip is a space between your beginning point, where you start taking action towards the goal, and where you realize the goal at the end. And the more significant, the more important your goal is, the greater depth and the longer that dip's going to be. That's why we say, like for medical school, you're going to start here and it's going to be 4 to 8 years you're shooting out the other side. And for physical transformation, we're usually looking at about a year, but the dip is really extreme the first 4 weeks. And if you can get through that dip, that first 4 weeks, you'll tend to be able to play the long game. And so what it is that space between when you start working out and you're not seeing any results. And it's going to happen. And it happens to everyone, and it's universal. And why it's there because the dip, if you can keep going, like Seth says in this book, if you can keep going when the system is expecting you to stop, you'll achieve extraordinary results. And that's a fact. This is the difference between everybody who starts our program and finishes and shoots out the other side with a transformation, and those that don't make it, is being able to manage and get through this dip. And even if especially if you're out there doing it on your own, you're going to experience this dip. And as long as you know that it's going to exist, you can manage it better. And how to manage it, I found with my most successful clients, there's 3 ways that they manage the dip. The first 2 ways are kind of similar, but number 1 is from the beginning, especially just think 4 weeks. That's what most people can wrap their head around. Those first 4 weeks that you're in a fitness and exercise program, you're focusing on one thing, because that's about what you can wrap your head. Showing up. Are you scheduled to be there 3 days a week? Your primary driving force is to walk in that door at your scheduled time. If you are out on your own and you have to get to the gym, you're going to take a Zumba class or whatever, because it doesn't matter, or you're going to walk at lunch, your driving force that first 4 weeks is to simply show up consistently, because that's where all the results come from. Focusing in on that first 4 weeks, showing up. Number 2 is those people that focus in on the process, the showing up, the exercise, the improving their eating habits, not the numbers. Those are the people that are able to manage the dip, because you kind of go on automatic. Yes, it's going to be ugly. You're not seeing results. Yes, you're going to struggle. And yes, it's hard. But as long as you're focusing in on the behaviors, eating better, showing up consistently for the exercise, those 2 things will get you the results ultimately, because that's what you got to really focus in on. The scale's not going to move, but you focus in on the behaviors that will get the scale to move, and it will move eventually as you pass through this dip. And it's important to know that the farther out you are, if you've got 40 or 50 pounds, that dip's going to be deeper and longer than for somebody losing 10 to 15. And then how to manage it on the third point is those people that get social support, and research backs it up, tend to struggle less, get results more quickly, and struggle less emotionally and mentally getting to where they want to go. And that's why we train in small groups. and in like the larger fitness boot camp. Those three things, focusing in on the one thing, showing up, because that's going to solve 80 to 90% of your challenges, especially that first 4 to 12 weeks. 2, the process, focusing in on the exercise and improving your eating habits on a daily basis. Drinking enough water. Am I getting enough sleep? The process. Focusing in on those critical things will get you the results on the outside. And 3, social support. You got to be around like-minded people. It is going to be very hard to out-exercise your environment. So you got to get around like-minded people. And if you don't have any people within your life, you have to go find that group. And we always recommend like Sparks People online. If you have, if you're on a budget, you just need that type of online support. Facebook, get into groups. All of this matters, and the research backs it up that the online support works just as well if you have no choice as in-person support. So those are the 3 things. Recognize that the dip is real and it's hard, but it can be managed, and the result and the reward for passing through is huge. It is a big deal. It's very much part of all transformation projects. And if you're trying to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, and make some major changes to your life and reestablish your exercise, you're going to go through the dip. But it can be done, and you can do it. If you have any questions, you can private message me here on Facebook. I'm Dave Fannin with the Body Firm Personal Training Fitness Boot Camps. If you like this video, like it, share it, comment below. Talk to you soon.